Hi, I'm Azalea. Welcome to Azalea's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing how to make my everyday carrot cake. This is an everyday cake, and that's what I call it because it's not a rich carrot cake. Sometimes carrot cakes can be very moist and the crumb quite wet with a very rich frosting on it, icing with cream cheese and so on. And I wanted to go back to a cake that was one that you could have without too much guilt, you know, with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee in the afternoon if you're feeling a little bit of a need for a pick-me-up. So this is one of those cakes where I've taken away the sort of the richness of it, and what I've done is kept some nuttiness by using wholemeal flour, lots of carrot. It will still have the brown sugar and the oil that normally carrot cakes have. The dried fruit is optional. If you wanted to add a bit of coconut you could, or I think it's also very nice chopped dried pineapple is also very nice. But this one you'll see it's very straightforward. So we start first of all. It's an easy cake. It's a throw everything in the bowl, stir, put it into the baking tin, bake. That's it. Now before we throw everything into the bowl, I like to break up the eggs first. So that's what we're doing here, just simply breaking them up and making sure that they are well broken before adding the rest of the ingredients. Pretty much sufficient. I normally actually use the fork to break them up, so you don't even need a balloon whisk for this. Here we are. Now I'm going to add the orange juice, oil, and the brown sugar, and just break it up a little bit, making sure the sugar is covered in the moisture. Sometimes brown sugar clumps up into little lumps, which is why I like to break up the sugar first. Yep, it's done. I'm going to add the carrots to the mixture. And then lastly the flour and the baking powder. And just stir everything in. I'm going to be adding some raisins to this one, but I've put this aside here to show you that you could add coconut, as I've said before. Apricots chopped up are very nice, I think, as well. And obviously, you know, spice it up if you want, like cinnamon, or if you like mixed spice, or this case here, allspice is also very nice. 2 teaspoons of that is very nice. And one of the things you mustn't forget if you're adding cake with oil and you don't add salted butter is to add a pinch of salt in it. It makes a difference. So I'm going to add that. Teaspoon. Only needs to be a little bit, so literally a quarter of a teaspoon. It's alright, half a quarter of a teaspoon, like so, into there. Raisins go in, mix it thoroughly. And you really want to then move quickly to get the cake into the tin, because with the mixture being quite wet and the acidity from the brown sugar will start to activate the baking powder more so than in a drier mixture, and it will start to work, and so you want to get it into the oven in order for the baking powder to do most of its work in the oven and not outside the oven. Now I'm going to show you how it looks. I want to show you how the baking powder is already working, and it's creating these bubbles, and if you look carefully at the mixture you'll see them popping. So this is why I was saying to you to get the mixture quickly into the oven. I've prepared the tin by lining it with baking paper both on the bottom and around the sides. I tend to do that a lot with cakes. I just like the extra protection the side lining of paper gives the cake. So I'm going to do that, pour it in. And in a preheated oven it's going. The cake is baked. I've left it for 10 minutes in the tin before trying to turn it out, and you can tell it's baked because the cocktail stick comes out dry, so it's ready to come out. I'm going to put the pudding rack upside down, turn it over. It took 40 minutes to cook, to bake rather than cook. There we go. I have 100 grams here of icing sugar, which is about half a cup I think, but you can see the recipe on my website. Tablespoon of water, and then just mix it until all the icing sugar is melted into the water. I have used orange juice instead of water, and if you're going to eat the cake within the first 3 days, then by all means use orange juice. After that, I've discovered that the acidity in the orange juice actually curdles the icing sugar, and it has a sort of rancid kind of taste, which is not very nice. So if you're eating the cake within the first 2-3 days, use orange juice for the icing, otherwise use water. Now the cake is still a little bit warm, so I'm going to wait another 10 minutes, come back and see if it's okay to put icing sugar. If it's too warm, the icing sugar just runs off it too quickly. There we go. So there you go, the icing sugar is now ready, and it's at the sort of dropping consistency, but thick enough to sort of hold on to the top layer of the cake. Much quicker, and that's it. That's the end. I can cut into it and show you inside, hopefully. There is not a lot of icing. I just really wanted to have a little thin layer. You don't have to do it. You can just put dust it with icing sugar over it, which is also very nice. Say that today I baked in the larger tin, 9-inch, which is about 22.5 centimetres. So you're going to get a shallower cake, obviously. Normally I bake it in a smaller tin, this size, which is 8 inches, about 21 centimetres. If you do that, it will probably take longer. I mean, normally about 10 minutes longer in my oven when you bake it in a deeper tin. In that case, towards the end, have a look and cover at the top if it's browning too much. The way that I have developed this recipe with a simple icing means the whole cake is dairy free, which is a great recipe to have to hand if you need it. I hope you enjoy it, and all the recipe details, that's in grams and US cups, are on the website, so azaleaskitchen.net. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.